Welcome, Jordan here. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how I approach mastering the art of detachment. And especially as well, if you find yourself right now in a place where you feel a little bit isolated, you feel like things are just going wrong and things are being removed from your life, people are leaving, maybe there's clients leaving, there just feels like there's a lot of things going wrong right now. It's for a reason. You have goals that you're looking to achieve, you have milestones that you're going to achieve along the way, and your experience of achieving those goals is a very spiritual journey. You could also look at this as mastering your internal state, your internal frequency, your energy. All of these different things, they say the same thing. So firstly, what is detachment? Well, let's look at what it isn't. Detachment is not sitting around and hoping that things change. Detachment is not sitting around and freaking out about the fact that things are going wrong and then doing nothing to solve it. Detachment is trust. It is surrender. And what are you surrendering to? Well, you're surrendering to whatever your belief system is around your spirituality, whether it's God, the creator, the universe, source, energy, whatever you refer to is perfect. So when we're looking at detachment, what we're looking at is we're looking at trusting that there is something unfolding that's greater beyond what we can even comprehend. That's the essence of what detachment really is. So that may sound nice, and you may have heard this many, many times before, but how do you actually do that? How do you actually fully embody detachment? And this is where the inner work comes into play. You cannot bypass the inner work on your journey. You cannot bypass dissolving the dense energy or the lower frequencies that you are running from unconsciously throughout your life. You cannot bypass that. There's actually a word for this in spirituality, which is spiritual bypassing. You cannot do it. You will always be pointed back inwards within yourself. So let's look at this and how this shows up and the journey of like really what this brings into your life. So you have a desire. You have something that you want to change, whether that's a financial goal, whether that's a relationship, a health goal, whatever the case is, you have a desire. That desire is now something that is trying to come to you because we are here to receive whatever it is that we want to receive in this life, right? But for us to be able to receive that, we need to earn it. And this is not the traditional physical earning that you talk about where it's like you have to work hard and grind in the physical world. That is one side of it. The other side of it is your spiritual work. It's the inner work that is done for you to elevate in your vibrational frequency, to expand your capacity to receive that thing that you want into your life, whether that is a business goal, a milestone, love, health, whatever it is. All of these different things, they require you to be at a certain level internally. Not just because that's just the rules, but because for you to be able to hold that sustainably long term, you need to have the frequency to be able to do that. So let's look at an example of this. Let's say you're trying to grow your audience on social media or you're trying to reach more people. And you're doing all of the inputs, right? You're taking the actions, you're moving forward. But for whatever reason, you're just not seeing the growth that you're looking for. Well, this is simply because there is something being mirrored back to you that you may need to dissolve within you and to transmute, right? By doing the inner work, right? Reconnecting with that unconscious part of yourself and doing that work, right? Whether it's shadow work or whether it's energy work or you're working with a coach, you're working with somebody. And for you to be able to actually grow that audience, there's things that need to be dissolved within you. And this is simply because if you were to receive that massive audience growth, let's say you're looking for 1 million followers, if you're looking to receive that audience growth right now in your current self, you wouldn't be able to handle that because it's too much energy for you. It's too much eyeballs on you. And it would probably break you because there would be parts within you that is still looking for the validation of your audience, still looking for the validation of other people, and that must be dissolved. Validation is one of the biggest things that we all have to dissolve in some way, shape, or form, and it's a challenging one. It is one of the most challenging things that we will ever dissolve, but that's part of the journey. It's the same thing when you're trying to hit a certain income goal while doing what you love and doing something that is really meaningful to you. There's a certain person that you have to become within for you to be able to rise and ascend and align yourself with that outcome. If you have a certain desire of a certain income level and you were to be given that income today, you would likely just spend it all. You wouldn't be able to hold it. You wouldn't feel comfortable in any way, shape, or form holding that amount of money. You wouldn't feel safe holding that amount of money. Your nervous system would explode because it's so much energy that you wouldn't know what to do with it. You are being forged, but you're being forged in this place of isolation to go inward so that you can hold what you want long term, so that you don't just get a quick burst of energy and a quick burst of success and then it all goes away. Like, think about the amount of you know, guys who make very, very fast money, and you kind of notice that, like, the people who make the fast money, they're kind of gone pretty fast as well, because you make it as fast as you lose it. And it's the same thing if they weren't able to hold it long term. And that may be a key lesson for them to learn on their journey, that they had to make it and then lose it, to go inwards within themselves. Everything is always going to point you back in. Everything, every single thing. And there's no doubt about that. There's no question about it. So when you're looking at wanting to receive something, you're looking at wanting to receive something long term. So do you actually hold it? Because what's the point in making, you know, a certain income level for yourself and then it just goes away the next month? Like, what's the point in that? You want to be able to hold it long term. And for you to be able to do that, you need to be able to deeply love yourself, deeply respect yourself, deeply be able to go out there and speak your truth, be authentic within yourself, and not need the validation from other people, and not need other people to tell you how great you are, or not need other people to, you know, show you that you are valuable or special in any way, shape, or form. Like, all of these different things, you have to come to that realization yourself. And the only way you're going to do that is by doing the deeper work that's going to allow you to be able to do that. So right now, if you're experiencing that sense of isolation and you're feeling like things are just not going right for you, you are being molded. You are being energetically and spiritually challenged for you to be able to receive that outcome. But this is where people go wrong many, many times. And I'm guilty of this myself as well in the past, where we start to get panicky, we start to freak out, we start to look for ways to distract ourselves, right? I'll give you an example of this. You have a certain offer that you have a certain business that you run, and when you do this and you bring this into the world and you show up a certain way online, you have certain messaging, you have certain positioning, and then you start to switch up that because you are looking to go to another level, you're looking to be more authentic, you're looking to be able to speak your truth in a deeper way. Then when that happens, there may be clients that leave. There may be situations and opportunities that start to fade away. And if you start to panic and start to freak out the fact that everything is falling apart and you can't understand, and you start chasing people, you start getting into scarcity, you are not trusting the process. And when you're not trusting the process, you're avoiding the inner work that needs to be done to trust and surrender and let go. And that's why you start running in circles, where you start experiencing the same thing over and over again. Because when we say that we're in isolation, for example, and we're being forged into this new version of ourselves, we're being forced inwards. There's nothing to do necessarily, right? There's obviously actions to take, but there's nothing to do outside of you. It's all internal. It's all internal. So when we are on this journey and we are finding more ways to navigate this internal world, then we must be able to align ourselves with something that is more powerful than what we see ourselves to be, which is in whatever you resonate with, which is God, the creator, the universe, whatever the case is. That's what you're trusting into. And that's where the journey really is. Like, the journey is internal, the journey of that trust, the journey of that collaboration, that co-creation of you and the creator in whatever way that looks like for you. So when we look at detachment, we're looking at detaching from us needing to be the one who does everything. And we're looking at us letting go of the things that are not in alignment with this next level that we're moving into, right? So if there's clients leaving, if there's opportunities being missed, they're just not for you, and that's okay. But on the surface, these things feel like I'm at a loss in some way, shape, or form. That's, again, another reason why you are being challenged to go inwards, to trust, to let go, to stop panicking and operating from a place of scarcity. So stop chasing people, stop chasing opportunities, stop chasing clients. When you stop doing that, you can actually allow yourself to do the inner work required for you to elevate to the next level, to receive what you actually want to receive. It's just that when you spend constant amounts of time chasing and not trusting the process, you go backwards constantly and you keep repeating the same lesson over and over and over and over again. So let's talk a little bit about lessons, because lessons are the core thing that we're here to learn on our journey as a human being. And when we understand that we have a lot of lessons to learn, and our lessons will be slightly unique and different to each person, then we can embrace those lessons. There's certain things within your life that you are here to dissolve. It could be the need for validation. It could be the lack or the feeling of unworthiness. It could be lack of self-love. Like, they're all correlated in different ways, and we all have them. I have them too. I've been dissolving mine over the last number of years, and I'm still on the journey of doing that. And when we acknowledge that there's a couple of core things that we need to dissolve for us to be able to elevate, then we can understand that, hey, the inner work is required. I need to come back into myself and I need to be able to work through what is coming up for me. Because if I go off and start looking to distract myself, or I'm going to a different place and I'm trying to find ways to just, escape it in some way, shape, or form, or I'm constantly looking for people to be around me because I'm afraid to be alone. All of these things are you just delaying the process of you actually getting to where you want to be. And the more that you push that away and you push away the work that's needed to be done that you're not addressing, the more you will stay exactly where you are and then wonder a couple of months down the line why things have not changed for you. And that's just the truth. And I know it because I've been there. This work is required. You cannot spiritually bypass the work that you need to do on yourself. It's all an internal game. The sooner that you can identify the core lessons and the core themes that are running the unconscious programs in the background that you are here to learn, the more you bring awareness to those things, the more you can simply let them go, dissolve them. That's why it's the first thing that I do when I take on a new client, is like we identify what those things are and we immediately go on the process of dissolving them. And that allows them to receive what they're meant to receive and go on that journey. And that would be different for everybody. It's never perfect. It's all, in its own, unfolding in its own way. But it's the first thing that needs to be done to be able to elevate, because otherwise you're running the unconscious patterns constantly. And an unconscious pattern can be so subtle. I'll share one with you here that came up recently with a client where there was a certain level he wanted to get to, right? He'd been at a certain level in business for a long time. And he wanted to get to another level. He wanted to double his business, wanted to double his monthly income. He was sick of being at the same level for the last year or so. He was doing the right inputs, but there was something blocking him energetically, right? This goes deeper. This is the unconscious. We're talking about energy at the unconscious level. We went on this journey. We started to identify after our initial first 2 sessions what was the thing that was underneath the surface. Depending on everything that's going on in his external world, all of those things are mirrors, so you have clues as to what's being shown to you by looking at those areas. So a mirror, for example, is going to be something that shows to you in your world around you, the physical world around you, where you need to go in. So this could be something that somebody said, it could be an emotional trigger that somebody gives to you and you feel like a certain way when you watch a piece of content, when somebody says something, when somebody does something, or what's going on around you, how that manifests physically. It's all coming from the internal. So when we go through these different things, we understand that mirror, we can then start to see what are the areas that we need to go deeper on. So in the first 2 sessions, we were able to identify some guilt and some shame that were like just pulling him down, that he wasn't even aware of. He didn't even know it was running. And it was causing him to take certain actions. And those certain actions, or sometimes not any action, those things were stopping him from actually being able to double his business. And within the first 30 days, he was able to double his business after clearing those things. We need to be able to look at this mirror from a place of awareness. We need to be able to see the greater game that's playing out before us. And we can't do that if we're solely stuck on taking actions and we're solely focused on just creating in the physical world. We need to be able to zoom out. We need to be able to look at things from a higher perspective. We need to be able to tap into the realm of the unseen, which is where the spiritual work comes in. This is not woo-woo. This is truth. It's all happening around you, right? It's just whether you choose to look at it or not is completely up to you. So when we find ourselves in this state of isolation or feeling like things aren't really going well for us, we are being forged. But the last thing that you want to do is start to go off and distract yourself. The last thing you want to do is go and find outlets to not feel what you are meant to be feeling right now. This is the thing, and it actually can be that simple. An emotion can pass in up to 90 seconds if you let it. But as human beings, we're not taught how to do this, and we're terrible at it. So the feeling, for example, is going to be the thing that's going to point you inwards. There may be something under the surface, likely something related to childhood, something related to maybe when you were a teenager, something that happens in your life. There's so many knock-on effects that happen early in life that then trickle into just general behavior on a day-to-day basis. And until we go deep into the unconscious and uncover what that thing is, it will constantly play out the same program in your life over and over and over again. So we need to be able to get really skillful at this. It's a skill to be developed, like absolutely, which is why the inner work is the thing that actually brings this to the surface. You can then let it go, dissolve it, see it for what it is. You can then trust that the creator is going to be guiding you in the right direction to be able to make the moves, to be able to really expand into this new level that you want to get to, right? This thing that you want to receive into your life. It's a spiritual game that we're playing here. It's actually a beautiful gift, like this period of isolation, this period of being forged. When you do it with intention and you see it for the gift that it is, you can relax into the fact that you are being forged right now. And when you have the intention to do the inner work and to go on that journey and relax and detach into it. I'm not saying it's easy, it's challenging, don't get me wrong. But the more you surrender into it, the more that you are building such a solid foundation underneath that the building that's going to be built on top of that is going to be incredibly, incredibly big. Probably bigger than you could even imagine. Probably bigger than your current desire. This is the beautiful thing about it. We think that we want this certain goal, and a lot of the time it's just our ego that wants that goal, but that goal is tiny compared to what we can actually achieve. It's tiny. The ego keeps us thinking small because it's like, oh, I want to make this amount of money. And it's like, that's just like a safety goal that you usually set for yourself, right? And I catch myself doing this all the time as well. But what we're really looking to do is expand and stretch our ability to see what's possible for ourselves. Because when we do that, yes, there's going to be more work to be done internally to be able to actually receive that. But that, if you're going to be doing the work anyway, you might as well be doing it to receive something massive, not something small. Because when you receive the small thing, because it's happened to me in the past as well, when you receive the small goal, you realize, like, I wish I set a bigger goal. I wish I wanted more, because the work that was required to get to this point is the same work that was going to be required to get to the next point. So we're being forged, and a building can only be as high as its foundation. So this foundation is forged in that isolation. And I'm not saying you have to go off and purposely like isolate yourself and separate yourself from the world. You don't have to do that. But those periods where you do feel like you are alone, or you feel like there's not a lot of things working for you, or things are just not really clicking, and it's challenging to even think about like what this is going to look like over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, even the next couple of years. That's when you're being challenged the most. And that means that at the other side of this, something amazing, something beautiful, it's something incredible, it's something far beyond what you could even comprehend. And that is so powerful when you can have the foresight to be able to have that certainty within yourself and that connection to the divine, whatever that means for you. You cannot spiritually bypass the inner work. You're being forged, you're being built, you're being architected and constructed inside out. That results in you aligning with a new timeline, a timeline that actually is something that you truly desire, and something that's going to bring long-term success for you, not just short-term bursts of wins, because that is not actually what you want at the deepest level. Go in, because the way in is the way out, and it can happen sooner than you know. So that brings me to the end of this video, guys. Drop in the comments below if you have something you'd like to add to this, what's coming up for you. If you have any questions, I would love to jump in and support you, and I will see you in the next video.